Alright, let's get into it. We have another video, Rare Shadows, and today we're going to talk about C vs C. Yes, C vs C guide. Let's get into it. So, C vs C then, like, how do we get points? How do I get what I need? And how do I know? It's pretty easy. I plan all my points, even as a whale, someone who spends money in a game, but also being in this game a very long time. I've always tried to double dip in my resources. It doesn't matter if it's been in fusions or stuff like that that's going on in the game. I always try to double dip, right? And it's the same for C vs C. I try to double dip, and I consistently get 400,000 points for every C vs C personal rewards without a hassle, really. So first of all, let's talk about shards. This is like the big juicy one. Do I use shards myself? Really, C vs C? Not really. I save my shards for things, fusions, 10x like Kaimar, champions that really matter to me. Guaranteed champions, especially if they're good. Like Candy, for example, I think was joining a C vs C, who I really wanted. Then yeah, these make sense. However, I don't really use shards, and if you're free to play, then I don't recommend it. This is also a guide for endgame players, free to play and whales. If you're a whale, then my advice is be smarter with resources. You are paying money in the day, and you do want to maximize and be efficient, even if you spend the money or if you're free to play. I generally think a lot of the smart players are the whales, because they're spending money. Like someone like myself, I spend money. Again, I want to make sure I get the more, I get the most I can get from my money. So if I can earn some extra fragments, or I earn some extra shards in events, or for example, I can earn some extra shards in, I don't know, a champion training, right, or a legendary tome, then I'll use my energy for that, which is where I spend money. What do I normally spend money on? Really, void shards on the 2x hex. I spend money on energy, gems, and probably soul stones. That's the only ones, and even then the small ones, and I get like the pack probably like once a month. I don't recommend it. And forge pass, right? I think the forge pass is alright for good for the money you pay, but I also get it because of rank charms, the glyphs, the gear. Sometimes, like this one was a terrible set, for example. However, it's bolster, I would be all in like a dog on heat, right? So yeah, we'll come back to the forge shortly. But that is the one way. And I also save up fragment summons. I don't really summon fragments unless I really need to. I more save this if I'm having a bad 2 days at work, or I don't have legendary tomes, for example, to use and stuff like that. So for me, this is a big one that I do try to save. It's 30,000 points for a legendary. I think it's around about 3,000 points for a epic if it's brand new. Tavern has a lot of utility for C vs C points, so barons are really good to save for 3 vs 3. A feast is definitely recommended. 6-star champions. I personally don't think you need 6-star champions during champion training. I think that just getting them up to 50 or earning yourself more chickens, which is what I tend to do to get the legendary tome. And if I kind of feel if the legendary tome is good value for champion training, I will go for it, especially if I have time. So around about 12,000 points, I will normally go for that legendary tome, especially if it's during fusion, which is where I'm normally more active. I'm pretty dormant outside fusions, if I'm honest, or during C vs C I'm quite dormant, so quite active as well, obviously, from that. Legendary tomes is something that I generally plan, because You don't get a lot of legendary tomes in this game, and also you don't. I don't spend money on legendary tomes. If there's a pack I know I buy with a load of energy and it has a legendary tome, then yeah, I'll pick it up. But I don't normally like the mixed packs like that. So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of epic tomes. I think epic tomes are the easiest to get. I don't really get them in the bazaar or anything like that because they're literally everywhere. Rare books or rare tomes, they're the hardest tomes to get when you are a endgame player like myself. So for rare tomes, I do go out my way a little bit of getting rare tomes, just for the things of like secret rooms, which I do complete all 3 now. I mainly still collect them just for C versus C points if I need some extra C versus C points. So for example, 2 weeks ago I was planning, or a week ago I was planning my C versus C points. I was planning to book up my Duchess, and then I'll pull a Kaima, so I will be using probably quite a few books within that. Ascension, right? 6-star allegedly champion to Ascension, doesn't really have that much points in champion trainings, kind of a waste. I like to save it for C versus C, and I'll save the Ascension for the C versus C, and I think this does a lot of wonders for me in points. I can't remember the numbers at the moment, but we can take a look in a minute. I think we can get the points up in that. So Ascension is another big one for me. I save in C versus C. Obviously legendary tomes, they're absolutely huge. So I just want to show you the points right now. So obviously we want to get 400,000 points for personal rewards. I will probably go for 500, 500,000. It's probably pretty simple for me. So Kaima is 9 bucks and Duchess is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in total that's 15 bucks. So we're gonna go 15 times by 3,000, which is per book, and that is 45,000 points, which is probably just under like 1/8 of the personal reward points. So saving up your legendary tomes. If you're doing Ultra Nightmare, I kind of figured that every 2 weeks from Ultra Nightmare you probably get around about 10 legendary tomes that I find. I don't know if that's a bit off, maybe it's a bit high, but that's what I find to get. Probably actually, I think maybe that's monthly. Again, I've saved up my legendary tomes. Feast are another huge one, and yeah, Peruse as well. They're the main ones I try and save. So not Peruse, but the barrels. Another one is silver. I would say I recommend players to try and save around about 65 million silver. You can fund that silver in many ways. For example, farming spider like crazy during C versus C is another good way of getting C versus C points. And forge. So forge, I think if you have 4,000 items in forge, then that's just a total waste of resources. There is sets like resilient, that's not that great, affinity breaker, frostbite, which is okay, bloodthirst. You know, this is just all silver to me, if I'm honest. They will just be summoned and I'll sell them off for silver. If I get something good, then I'll keep it, but I doubt it. And then for the good sets, I'll be using my rank charms to use to get these. Obviously, I'll be in summoning shards, so I get them. I'm finishing in top 8 on tournaments and stuff like that. You also can get them in the bazaar, which is very, very good. It's the first things I pick up. I do pick up legendary tome in 3 vs 3. I think it's not a bad way to pick up a free legendary tome once a month. And then I do pick up the sacred shard, and I do normally pick up the void shard, but I prioritize that last. As you can see, I get the rare book, I get the aegis shard and the energy, and I save the energy just in time for C vs C. Faction Wars is huge. You get around about 24,000 points from Faction Wars if you farm in 21s. Spider is huge. This either see I will be going over Savage for first day. I haven't really spent any energy at all in Finite. I've been saving up my free energy, but normally I'm in Spider to fund my silver habit. Not like I need any more silver. Another one is 3 versus 3. I do roughly around about 150 fights during C versus C, so I'll save my tokens here, I will save my energy here normally, and save my 5 login to roughly about 30 minutes before reset, and I do the same here as well. So, and then I'll also come into the shop and I will come into and pick up the first 3, so I'll get the 15 gems, the 40 and the 50, and then that's normally enough to get me going on them. And then I will do my classic fights of arena, so during both events I will drop my defenses, for example in both, and then classic I will drop it tomorrow, right? So when I get too high I'll drop it, so I come all the way back down and do my thing there. And I try not to waste kind of time in content that can be done in before, so like Doom Tower I'll try to do in, for example, I will do my Hydra, clan boss if I can, probably even through a clan boss I will at least try farm Ultra Nightmare, Brutal, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare and Hard, so the first 4 top points. I think that gets me around about 5,000 points, maybe 4,000 points if I remember. I can't remember how much it is exactly. Yeah, and then silver, and silver is absolutely huge in points. I think it's 1,500 points when you upgrade from level 15 to 16. You can go from 12 to 16, however it does take more silver, so that is something you would recommend. Normally when I'm doing like silver events I will take my gear up to 8 or 12 or to 15 and then leave it for 16 for C versus C. I don't do a lot of silver events outside fusions and C versus C. That's how I've got so much silver. I've actually never brought a silver pack in my life. On raid, I'm happy not to. I do have crazy C versus C's when I'm hitting 1 million points. I've hit 1 million points at least 8 times. I think I did it 4 or 5 in NSA, twice in Claw, 3 times in Claw. And my personal best in C versus C was 1.8 million points. Maybe I think it was a bit higher. I think it was like 1.84 or something like that. That was actually a week probably when I opened. I had like 3 champions here to summon. I had a great stack and I double dipped in quite a lot of things there, and I used a lot of legendary tomes. I probably spent some money as well on legendary tomes that week. I think I had some good champions and I had a lot to do. So yeah, I think that's pretty much on the points that I normally do. You know, I will come into the clan shop. I will try to pick up the rare tomes because again it's something that will just give me some extra points if I'm a bit short. Energy as well, and then rank charms as well. Yeah, so these are all good things for points. Glyphs can get you some points. They're very small, but if you've got some 6-star glyphs lying around, you want to use them on speed gear and stuff like that, that can also help. And I suppose when you're free to play, it's really important how to get them, but you can get the 400 points consistently on personal rewards. I mean, you only need to look at Final Capucci, right, and he does it pretty much all the time, and never spends any money in the game. So, you know, hat off to him. I do want to pull this up. As you can see, this is my C versus C point planning. This was done on the 17th of January when I was planning my C versus C points. So I'm planning to do This fusion, it has changed a little bit. I haven't updated it, but I kind of use this as like a guide for myself as well, to make sure I'm being careful with my resources. As being a content creator, I do use my resources sometimes out C versus C. For example, this is fusion, right? Last fusion, I summoned him before C versus C, and I booked him before C versus C. That was 60,000 points I lost, because that was 10 books I used plus gems, which is a 2-time gem tomorrow. And then we have, so tomorrow I'm planning to summon around about 750 items for Forge, and then I'm planning to sell most of it off. I'm planning to do 150 fights in 3 versus 3, which will give me 150k, 115k in C versus C points. Classic arena, I'm just going to use the free ones that we get, which will give me 5,600 points, as well as I'm farming the material needed to forge stuff, so I can make sure I can carry on forging. We're planning to do at least around about 400 runs, so it's about 8,000 energy, which is 120k in points for C versus C. I don't know how many gems that is. I can probably work out some other time. Gear, I'm planning to roll around about 50 items of gear to level 60, which will give me 75,000 points and cost me about 65 million silver. And we'll try and earn that silver in the Forge and Spider, and then probably have to use a little bit extra up after that. And then I was planning to book out one legendary, which was 30,000 points. That is going to go up, and I might reduce down Spider runs just to balance out my points, because if we have back-to-back personal rewards, I will want to try and save some legendary tomes and stuff like that for the week after. That's also why I'm kind of saving my fragment summons, right? Because they're absolutely huge points. So that one will obviously go up to 54, 45, which we already did. Faction Wars we already talked about, which is 24,000 points, and then Clan Boss, which is 4,000 points. You only get 2 Clan Boss chests as well within that time period, and I think that's about it. You can come in and plan your points as well, much as you can. Obviously I'm going to go for personal rewards tomorrow. You got miscellaneous items like gems, I didn't count in there. You know, glyphs, 500 points. Ascensions, okay, which is 500 for ascension. Artifacts. Wait, did they include this? Upgrade artifact to level 6 or ascension to level 16. I might have to test this, but I think you can get points for ascending gear, which I wasn't even aware of. That might be another good thing for me to actually start looking at. I will test this out tomorrow. Maybe we'll get points for that. Maybe I didn't notice that it was included. I didn't think it was included. That's really cool. If it's included, I'm up for that, because then again I can double dip. Right, so Clan Boss is like not much. 1,000 points, so 2 chests is 4,000 points, so it's a little bit more than I predicted, which is always a bonus. I will probably farm Platinum Arena just for a bit of extra points. We're right about that. So Fire Knight is the exact same as Spider, however it is a lot longer. I can do like probably 8 runs in Spider, 25 by the time I finish 1. Alright, hold on. My Spider team I could do 4 runs every time I do, or 6 runs in Spider every time I do 1 run in Fire Knight. And then we do have the 2x speed, 3x speed gear on Dragons this event. I won't be doing anything. I don't really farm masteries. I don't know why people farm masteries during for that. Let me know in comments if I'm missing anything. Campaign, if there's a champion training, then yes, I will normally leave like the 5-star chickens that the champions I will take up for this. And then yeah, I will look at this. So legendary champion, get a new one is 10,000 points. Get champions for the first time. Oh, sorry, so it's added on, so it's 30,000 points. And then upgrade champions, which is like 40 to level 60. Upgrade ranks, which is 1,000 points. And then Ascendant champions, so for example, Ascendant legendary is 2,500 points. Now if you save the level 5, the 4, 5 and 6, that actually equals out more than a legendary tome. Just think about that. That's more than a legendary tome. So you can save yourself 2 legendary tomes if you save 2 champions, which I've done with Kaima and Duchess, right? So that's huge, absolutely huge. And again, if you have a max Great Hall, it doesn't really apply to you, but saving your bonuses in Great Hall is also another good thing. And again, you can see, so you can save it here. Epic tomes are 1,000, and then rares are 500. Just one last thing as well. Obviously, you can see I have a lot of chickens. I don't upgrade a lot of champions a lot now, so sometimes in personal rewards, normally I will use copies of rares. So Dolibus is someone I normally farm quite a bit. I don't really tend to do it with epics at the moment. However, it might get to the point where I will change that. But right now, it's normally the rares I do this for. So I'll go through and I will just simply book up 2 here, and that's 1,000 points, and it takes next to nothing. It's a resource that I can burn quite easily in C vs C without affecting my account, because for chickens I don't really need it, and I have more chickens in the vault. So you know, it's another thing that I look at as points. And again, I will probably save a little bit of energy in Spider and save that for the next C vs C or Silver. Silver is like the most precious resources. So there we are, guys. There is my tips, there's my tricks. You know, 3 vs 3 is huge, legendary tomes huge. I made this video because a lot of people have been asking me lately in like my streams and stuff, like how am I doing so many points. So I guess that's why I've done the video, and this will go live just as about when C vs C starts, so it'll be perfect timing. Another thing that I want to make out as well is I like to double dip in events. So as you can see, again, red books, I will try and pick these up for future C vs C points, or just to like kind of fill up. So yeah, there's a few things there that was really helpful. I think that is really good. If you're a spender, by the way, make sure you pick up this pack. I think this pack is a really nice deal. 7,500 gems for £40, and if you come here, you will spend for $30 1,500, or you can get 7,500 for that as well. Gem pack, absolute bargain. Make sure you pick it up if you're not free to play, if you have a little extra cash. Forge as well. So Forge is another big the Forge pass is another big one to help up your C vs C points if you're a low spender. Charms are absolutely huge. They're really hard to get, especially if you're not in gold 1+ in 3 vs 3. So that's why I pick them up even for myself. As a spender, I try to pick them up much as I can. And then when I'm finishing tournaments as well, this is kind of like the last thing that I tend to do is, if I can't get top 1 for the Relentless, then I'd actually rather finish normally here when I could pick up some rare charms or ranked charms or energy and gems. So for me, anything from here is more valuable. The ancient shard's nice, but I get enough of them. I don't buy them, I get enough. So yeah, and again, I need void legendaries more than normal legendaries, especially pulling duches and Kaimar recently. So yeah, it makes no sense to me. So yeah, as you can see, I've gone easy on finite until C vs C starts, and then I'll hammer it. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you let me know down in the comments what do you think. Do you get personal rewards tier 6? I would like to know how many players actually do get the full whack. And remember to like, comment and subscribe to support the channel so I can carry on making these videos and helping you guys out. So if you guys would like any help or any more details or recommendations, check out my Twitch channel down in the link, or head over to Twitch at Grim Reaper TV Raid. I am more than happy to come on to your account, give you a bit of coaching for your C vs C points, and that is more towards in-game players. I would like to say for anyone that's doing faction wars and stuff like that, holding forge materials or forged gear and stuff like that, silver, stuff like that, it's not recommended. I don't recommend it for players like that. You're hurting your account more for progression. This is a guide for in-game players, free to play, like Final Capucci, for example, that type of level, 3 years, 2 years plus, or low spenders, or even whales that want to benefit from the points a bit more. Until the next time, I will see you all. If I don't see you in my Twitch streams, I will see you on the next video. Peace and have a great week.